Hey guys, it's Tim and Kathy with Taste Life with Us, and we're coming to you from the beautiful Kuala Lumpur, and it is to celebrate our Nomad-versary.
Yes, we left home 1 year ago, yesterday, and we've been living around the world since then.
Absolutely.
Full time.
We've been to Canada, we've been to Australia, New Zealand, Bali, Thailand, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore.
Yes, and it has been so fun. This has been the greatest ride of our life.
Absolutely,
For
absolutely.
sure. And we know a lot of you that are watching might be interested in becoming a nomad, and we were devouring YouTube videos of people who were new to nomad life so that we could learn from them and make sure it was right for us before we did it. And so we just want to kind of pass that torch on, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. So one of the things we want to do, well, let's step back. Just give you a little heads up what we're doing. Because this is our Nomad-versary, we are celebrating by producing a video a day.
For a whole week.
Not gonna lie, it's a little bit of work. For a whole week to just kind of go over ideas and thoughts and concerns that we had before we started.
Mm-hmm. And how did it turn out?
Yeah, and so we're gonna do today all about the 12 things that we think we did right and
2 mistakes.
maybe.
At least it's not the other way around.
Absolutely.
That would have really been a bummer. Well, obviously everybody's life is different. Your expectations and goals are different. So what works for us might not work for you. Your taste may vary.
Absolutely.
But we're going to give you what we think were the best decisions that we made in starting our nomad life, how we did it, the process by which we did it. And we'll give you the 2 cautions that have been hard for us.
Yeah. So, number 1, this is probably the biggest thing. You got to pay off your debt.
Yes, I'm so glad we went into this with no debt.
Yeah.
Now, I will codify that a tiny bit. We do have one student loan we're still paying off on one of our kids.
Yeah.
That as soon as we get to our IRAs, we'll just knock it out. But it didn't quite get paid off. So
Yeah. But other than
we're
that,
not perfect. We're just people.
I'm perfect. Perfect.
Okay,
Oops.
but it feels great to have no debt and just to be able to operate on a cash basis with what we
Absolutely.
have. So.
Right. The other thing that we did right off the get-go, and actually this started a couple of years before we actually left, is we started accumulating points, credit card points. Now, not credit card debt.
Right, no. The credit card points and credit cards that came with free nights and things like that.
Yeah.
So you can watch our video that we just came out with on how we save money on travel for more information on all of that. But we have saved a ton of money,
Yes.
and we are still saving money. We still have lots of points. And actually going back to the US in a few months, it is saving us because the US
Yeah.
is so expensive and we have to go visit all of our kids. We have 5 kids, and it has given us flights for basically half price.
Yes.
Free hotels in some cases, cheap hotels in other cases.
Yep.
So it's been a very profitable thing for us to do. So we hope that helps you, that other video.
Yeah. Another thing we did, number 3, is that while I was still working, and you were working too, we tried to prepay some of these items to get big lumps of money out of the way.
Yes, and this kind of goes hand in hand with number 4,
Okay.
which is we decided to go to one of our most expensive locations first
Yeah.
because we were prepaying it. So Australia and New Zealand are not cheap places to visit, even though the currency was strong. They were cheaper than normal, but even that is
Still
expensive.
expensive. Yeah.
Beyond our budget of $4,000 a month. So we booked our Airbnbs and our Verbos, and we paid all of those off before we went. So we could use all of our budget on wine tasting, our favorite hobby,
Yes.
and eating and touristing. So we did some of that there, and cruising.
So the other great thing about these expensive places is they are also English speaking places. So, you know, it's kind of like we went from America to America Light.
So I'll kind of use an analogy like a swimming pool. Basically, we went to step number 1. To the top step, we got our feet wet, felt the temperature, made sure that we felt safe, while we could still read the safety signs. There was a lifeguard, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? They're safe places to visit.
Right, they are, and it's
Easy places to visit.
they're easy places. There's a few word variances that are different and accents.
There's a lot of different things, and you'll see that in one of our other videos that we're doing this week, which is on all the things that surprised us and that we learned.
But the other thing to really think about, though, for us, is it was important to have that smooth, soft entry.
Yeah, we were not big public transportation people before we became nomads, and you have to be. So it's a lot easier to figure out the system in English.
Yeah.
Now that we know the system, we can figure it out in other languages too, but it really helps to figure out nomad skills of life, finding what you need in towns, reading labels in towns that are written in English when the
Right.
products are different than what they are in the US.
Right. It just gives you a better feel and a more comfort feeling in how to do things.
Yeah, because things are different. Washers and dryers are different. Water systems are different. Like everything is different in other countries.
It is.
And it's hard enough to figure out how to work all these different things when it's
An English
in
language.
English, much less in a different language completely. Although, turns out most places use American goods and services. Just saying, for like air conditioners and stuff like that.
And we have had the luxury of having a lot of English-speaking areas that we've gone to around the world.
Yeah, I have to say, largely around the world, people speak English. It's
Yeah.
like the second language of the whole world. So
It's
it
been
hasn't
nice.
been very hard, but we didn't know that. And so it was really helpful to go to an English speaking place first for us.
But that leads us right into number 5, is once we kind of got that soft entry, we went headfirst into the deep end.
Yeah, we really wanted to visit a place that intimidated us. Like, I've been to Europe. It doesn't intimidate me. I mean, we've been to a lot of places that don't intimidate us. Belize and the Caribbean and Mexico. We know how to do those. But we've never been to any Asian country before. And the letters look different on a lot of the languages. The culture's very different.
All of the languages, they look different.
The food is really different. No, they don't. A lot of them use like a Roman alphabet. But a lot don't. Like Cambodian is absolutely beautiful, but you can't relate it to anything at all.
No.
It's Khmer. It's the Khmer language.
There you go.
Anyways, we wanted to go someplace that intimidated us so that we would know we could make it wherever. I mean, maybe not in like Nepal or something, but general tourist areas, we would be able to survive okay if we could conquer.
So that there's conquering our fears and running from absolute terror. Nepal is just terrifying.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, I mean, we need to work our way up to some more remote places. But in tourist terms,
Yes.
it was good. At that point, we got off the steps. We just jumped into the deep end. No rafts, no lifeguards, no nothing. And we swam.
Yep.
And it was okay. And it was way easier than we thought it would be. Like we said, more people spoke English. More things have English on signs and products. And where they didn't, there was always somebody who did speak English to help you, and or Google Translate, which can be very humorous, but usually has some degree of accuracy.
So the other thing that really took a lot of stress off of us is number 6. We're booked ahead for a few months.
Because travel planning takes a lot of work. Especially if you've watched our travel planning videos, at least the way I do it, it's a significant investment in time and mental ability, and it's emotional. And so it really helped to not have to deal with that until we got to the end of New Zealand, almost the bottom of North Island of New Zealand. So we were at like the beginning of March. We left in July.
Yep.
We didn't have to do hardly any travel planning except for like local activities until March. And then we planned Southeast Asia. Now, the good thing about that also, though, was by then we kind of knew better what we wanted in accommodations.
What our travel style was more like.
What our travel style was like.
What our budget was like.
Yeah, how we were doing on our budget. We knew better.
Right.
And so we planned for the cheaper area of Southeast Asia.
So number 7 is kind of a little diversion from all of this, and it talks about, how we managed our credit cards, important documents, money, is that we kept kind of what we called a multi-wallet system, which means that we have multiple areas where we keep a small amount of cards, cash, and documents.
ATM card, credit cards, documents. Yeah, and that has become very valuable. Like we did lose a ATM card.
We already talked about that. We will not speak
That's
of it
in a
again.
different video. You can watch a video about our budget. We've got some more. Actually, I think that's in the security video.
In the
safety and security video. That will help you a little bit on how to manage money.
Okay.
And the budget video. Okay, we won't go into that too much, but that's important. We did it right.
All right. That was number 7. Number 8. I think we did this right in that we started with the America Light and got comfortable, but then the head first into the deep end, but then we moved outside of the tourist zone. So number 8 is we were starting to stay outside of tourist zones.
Yeah, and so not where there's no tourists. We didn't get crazy. We didn't go to Nepal.
And we didn't go to the Outback.
But what we're saying is, like for instance in Cambodia, we went to a small island in Cambodia. Granted, most of the people there are tourists, but there's not very many of them. It's a very deserted area. And actually that has been one of our greatest things that we've done, don't you think? And when we were in Bali, we didn't stay in the busy tourist areas except for a couple times. We went to places where we could snorkel, which were a little off the beaten path. And those were some of the very best places we've ever been.
Except for the centipedes.
We went to the Gili Islands, which some people do day trips and snorkel trips, or maybe even stay a week. We stayed a week on 2 different Gili Islands, that was a fantastic experience. And I think we learned a lot by not being in places where there's tons of tourist support stuff, where you're in a place where there's no police, there's no ATM machines, everything's cash, it's all local businesses, there's no chains, no hotel chains, that kind of thing. You're actually getting a more local experience, and you're getting used to communicating with and relying on local people. And I think it was really valuable, and some of our best relationships formed and things.
Yeah, absolutely. When you talk about doing this nomad life, you talk about the difference between living life, like we try to do on a daily basis, and touristing, which is where you try to go see all the sites. You can't
like you would on a vacation. You just go, do everything that everybody else does.
So you can't do that all the time because you get exhausted. So one of the things that I think we did right is we balanced that with bucket list items.
So like we said, we went to some places that weren't too touristy, and we didn't over tourist. But we did
do a few.
Number 9, we did attack a little bit of bucket list stuff, and we're glad we did, because those are some highlights. Of course, that's why you're doing this. You want to see things you've always wanted to see. We wanted to see Angkor Wat, and it was phenomenal. And I'm so glad that we saw it.
Yeah. You couldn't. No, that was just a great bucket list item.
And you balance your budget. You see in our budget video, but those things are going to be more expensive when you're touristing like that, but they're worth it. So you balance it out with some less touristy things where you're just living.
Right, and I think that's probably the next thing on our list, number 10, is you balance it by mixing the city, the beach, culture, quiet time. You got to put all of that into the pot and stir it in so that nothing overseasoned one way or another.
Exactly. I think that financially and energy-wise, and just not getting bored, mixing it up is really great. I mean, we loved last month on a little deserted island in Cambodia. It was relaxing. It was a fantastic stay. But you know what? We were ready to come to Kuala Lumpur. This place is bigger than New York City. It's got this energy, and it's fantastic to be here. It's just kind of revitalized us after our long relax.
Yep, absolutely. So mixing it up, key thing. Number 11. This sounds a little strange, possibly, but we kind of reached out and met other nomads.
So it's pretty exciting that shortly after leaving the United States and then Canada, we took a trans-Pacific cruise from Canada to Australia. And four or five. Was there 5 of us total?
Mm-hmm.
So we were
Five.
one of the 5, or were there 5 others?
I think it was 5 groups, 5 couples.
Anyways, 4 or 5 other nomad couples happened to be on our cruise ship, and we had found them through those weekly check-ins on Go With Less, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
And so we had arranged before we went. We knew we were all on the same ship, and we met up, and those people have become good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, it's a smaller world than you think.
Yeah, we've crossed paths with them and other nomads multiple times
Yeah,
now.
and through them we met, like through meetups, in other places, we've also met other nomads
Mm-hmm.
who have become good friends. And, we'll even Zoom sometimes with friends. We've met up with some of these people multiple times. In fact, Kay and Roger, I think we've already met up with them 3 times.
At least
And
3,
we're
yeah.
meeting them in Mexico in December.
Yeah.
So not because we're planning to go the same place, we just find out we are going to be in the same place.
Yep.
And those have become important friendships because you don't want to be totally alone on this journey. You want people that understand you.
Yeah. The other thing is, it's not just nomads that you develop friendships with. It's the people
yeah.
that you meet along the way.
So many people. I mean, just
Shout out to Peter.
Peter?
Peter, our friend in New Zealand.
Our Airbnb host. Oh my gosh, he has become like a mentor. He's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
But we've also met other nomads that aren't in nomad groups. They're just, girls traveling through Cambodia,
Yeah.
or couples that we meet in different countries that we just stay in touch with through social media, and they become people that we really care about. And also locals, like our local drivers. I mean, we spent 2 months with Komang in Bali as he drove us all around, and he's somebody we care very much about in our life now. And Sarang in Cambodia. So you meet people that you build relationships with. That's an important thing.
Absolutely. So the last thing that I think we did well is also the first thing that we could have done better.
Yeah, so we have 2 mistakes, and this is both a good thing and a bad thing.
So carry-on luggage. Carry-on luggage when you are flying all over the place is ideal.
Even we just moving from place to place,
Yes.
no matter how you do it.
It's just so much easier.
It's heavy, it's hard on your body, there's cobblestones and gravel, and shout out to our suitcases. The Osprey suitcases with the giant wheels are like the best thing we've ever spent money on.
They have definitely taken a beating.
You can find them on our website, tastelifewithus.com, on our packing page. The exact type. Click through if you want to help us out. But I'm not telling you for that. I'm telling you because these are the best ones we've ever had.
For carry-on suitcases,
They're fantastic. But in a lot of places, carry-ons have to be checked because they weigh too much. Like Asian airplanes, you are limited to 15 pounds on the plane. That's your personal item, your carry-on.
Yeah.
There's no way you have your whole life in 15 pounds. That's practically one backpack full of electronics. You have to check them.
Yeah.
And if you also have a checked bag, now you're checking 2 bags. You're paying a lot of extra money.
And they charge you for
Because
it.
you're paying for every bag you check.
So how are the carry-ons also a mistake?
Well, they were packed too full, and they spilled out into extra backpacks.
We took way too much stuff. And
Yeah.
and you see all the nomads on YouTube videos say you really don't need to take as much stuff as you think.
That is true.
Is that right?
And you look at everything people suggest that you pack, and you're like, oh, I've got to have it. And some people are really attached to these things, like a drain cover. We've never needed a drain cover. A lot of people take them. A lot of people take coffee filter things.
All sorts of stuff.
We've managed without that. I mean,
We did take a corkscrew.
So many different things, but we do carry a corkscrew,
Yeah.
and we actually carry our snorkel gear,
Yes.
which is big and takes up a lot of room.
Right, but it's paid off. We do a lot of snorkeling. We love to just walk off the beach and snorkel in places, and so it's good to have it, and we've enjoyed
This
it.
whole phase of travel has been so many different snorkel places, and tons of them don't rent it. We're not going to keep buying it over and over. And we've been very grateful to have our snorkel gear and our little blow-up floaty noodles. Those
That
are
we
one
take
of the
snorkeling.
best things we own. These blow-up floaty noodles from Amazon that we use when we snorkel, because if you snorkel off land, you have to go way out there, and we don't want to waste our energy swimming. We want to waste our energy snorkeling.
Right.
So
It really helps a lot.
We can swim a lot more. So
They're also bright colors, so it helps boats
yeah,
find
it
you.
helps boats see you. But anyways, the point being, you can find a lot of these things after you're already on your way.
Yes.
So you can always pick up more things. There's a few things that are hard to find, but it depends where you're going. Go someplace with a big city, not long after you get there, to pick up the stuff that you wish you would have brought, and a place with a good goodwill so that you can get rid of all the stuff you brought that you turned out you don't need.
Absolutely.
So we've leaked things all along our path.
Yeah, we've slowly gotten rid of a lot of the stuff that we finally realized we didn't need. And it's worked
as we
out.
changed climates, we got rid of all our warm stuff once we left New Zealand because it was kind of cold there.
Right.
But anyways, you don't need as much stuff as you think, and you don't wear. We still have clothes that we don't even wear.
Yep.
We don't have that many clothes.
So there you go. That was mistake number one. Now, mistake number two. This is kind of a more of a personal thing for us, is that when we originally planned this and set out to travel, we kind of set up a 14-month plan.
Well, we left July 28th, and we plan to be back in the U.S. a year from November 5th.
Okay.
I mean, that is our plan still.
Yeah,
we're
so
doing that.
this November. So yeah, 15 months.
But right before we left, we found out our daughter was pregnant. Well, not right before we left, but while our plans were already paid for, we couldn't change them. Found out she was pregnant. Realized the baby was due shortly after we left Canada for Australia.
Yeah.
We got very lucky that our cruise changed slightly and decided to spend 2 nights in Los Angeles.
We see the grandbaby.
Second luck is that she ended up needing to be induced because of her doctor's schedule, and we got to drive home and see the baby.
Yes.
So thankfully, we've seen that baby that is now like 8 months old. No, she's a year old. No.
Yeah. So
Anyways.
we got to do that. But I think really what we should have done in hindsight is only scheduled about 8 months before we made a cruise back through the United States to see family. Because honestly, we miss them.
After New Zealand, we should have gone home somehow and then gone to Bali.
Yeah.
Because around the 6-month mark, well, it kind of depended on
between
the
6
kids'
to
lives
8.
and what they were going through. But even if they weren't going through anything, they started to kind of miss us. Like, why are you coming home? And,
Yeah. And I think too,
we could have made it to 8 months, I think, but then it
I think we missed them
started
too.
to fall apart just a little bit, and I think it switched from we're tolerating it to we feel abandoned a little more, and we miss the grandkids, and
Miss
you
our
know, we've
kids.
had
It's
2
just-
new grandbabies since we left, and we miss our kids, and you know, we stay great in touch with video, but you just need to hug them
You do.
sometimes,
You
and
do.
they need you to be there and help them work on their house or whatever, you know.
Yeah. So I think in hindsight, making more of a circulatory back through the United States, although not always cost effective.
It's not cost effective,
But-
and that's why we didn't do it. But I think 8 months should be the max if we can get back to visit. I mean, if we go somewhere like Africa, it's going to be hard. But yeah, we're going to do our best. So we're going to adapt, and that's a great thing about Nomad life. It's totally adaptable.
Yep, you got to make those changes. You know, going forward, that's what we're looking to do, is adapt, get the timelines down a little bit better.
So we have one other thing that we're not sure if we did it right or if it's a mistake.
Yeah, and this is something.
And you can help us decide. So we felt like we might get kind of bored in our nomad life, and we needed hobbies, and that is true. But we picked a hobby that's a lot of work.
YouTube.
YouTube and the website.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of work. And we have a love-hate relationship with them. We do. There's times we love it, times we hate it. I mean, way back in New Zealand, we were feeling this, that we made a video on 3 reasons we should do YouTube and 3 reasons we should not. So it's a long-standing thing.
Yeah.
It came to a real crisis last month that I think we've mentioned in a couple things, but now we're in a city and we're energized and we're kind of back into it. So, you know, we're not monetized. We're just doing this.
We'd like to be monetized.
We'd like to help. If you guys want to subscribe, that would hugely help us get monetized. If you think we should not even be doing this, like, go ahead and tell us in the comments. You guys suck. Just stop. Enjoy your life. If you think it's helpful, please keep going. We need to know.
Yes.
Should we keep going on YouTube or not? Because we told ourselves we'd do it for a year, and we have now done it for a year. So I think we
started a little late getting into the game.
Yeah, so we basically have kind of more gone like, okay, we're going to do this till we get back to the US. We'll reevaluate. We'll probably keep doing it. We'll definitely keep doing our cruise channel, Cruise Through Retirement, because we have a bunch of cruises coming up.
Yes.
In and after the US, we have like 7 different cruise lines we're going to compare. And we're taking the Trans-Pacific back home.
Yeah, so we got a lot of stuff going on now.
We have a lot of cruising going on, including in Thailand.
Oh,
No, not Thailand. In Vietnam next month. We are going to take 3 cruises through Halong Bay to compare them. So if you're at all interested in cruising, follow us on our YouTube channel, Cruise Through Retirement. We'll put a link below. And subscribe to that if you're interested, because those will be going up, but not for a little while, and we'll all forget. So anyways, we're going to be switching a little more to that gear, but we will still be doing this channel also. But we need to know what you want from us here, or if you don't want us. If you're
just let us know.
Obviously don't subscribe. And don't hit dislike. YouTube does not like that. Don't hit dislike. Just tell us or message us. Like, you guys suck. Stop doing it. We get enough of that, we'll stop.
Okay.
I'm trying to talk him into stopping a little bit, but.
Okay. Anyway, thank you for listening to our run-ons here.
He's cutting this out. No, he is, but don't even tell us, because this is my hobby and I love it.
Thank you for tasting life with us. Thank you for just listening to us, and you know what, leave us comments, subscribe, do the like thing, just let us know you're out there. Yeah.
Go taste life for yourself, and we hope your list of things you did right is way longer than your mistakes. But cut yourself a little slack, because we're all human.